Woo! Great morning! Fired up, you guys. We got this song on for a reason. It's Monday. It's a beautiful new week. So fired up for this new Triple M. And I'm playing this song because we got a special speaker on our video today that was actually chosen by Marvin, Coach Marvin from LA. And it's Pharrell Williams. So I love this song because even if you're not happy, you listen to it, you got to be happy. So, man, I don't want to take up more of his time. I'm going to pass it over to Coach Marv. This guy's down close to 50 pounds on his Herbalife nutrition program. I'm talking about got abs for the first time and don't know how to act kind of results. So super proud of this guy. Love that he sent in a video. If you guys ever come across videos that you love, hey, don't hesitate to send them over, you know, and we'll get to them as we can. But I'm excited because Pharrell's one of my favorite artists, not to mention, you know, he looks like he could be my cousin. So he's definitely going to drop some nuggets for that. So without further ado, let's pass it over to Coach Marv. Where you at?
What up, what up? Great morning, everybody. Happy Monday. If y'all ain't happy right now, I know you guys are about to be happy because Pharrell, I mean, he is like one of the top artists. I feel like when that song came out, you guys will hear it in the video, but when that song came out, there was things that went on in his life. And he'll express that. And when, like, if you look at the video, so many people are, like, really, like, genuinely happy, dancing all over the whole entire world to this song. So, like, that's what really fired me up because it's, like, it wasn't just him. It wasn't, like, his logo. It was, like, the whole entire world was literally happy. Like, so I sent this over to Aubrey because, like, I used it during one of my fasted cardio sessions. And I was like, yo, like, you got to put this on for Triple M because Triple M, like, everyone's about to have a phenomenal week after this. So, and, you know, we got to start off the week off right. So, Aubrey, you want to play that video?
So without further ado, welcome Pharrell Williams, Top 10 Rules for Success. If you're in any of your team threads, client threads, on your social media, put Triple M, hop on. Let's get it.
Awards, including 2 with the Neptunes. He's Pharrell Williams, and here are his top 10 rules for success.
We wouldn't take on a project just to take it on. And the couple of times that we did that, like, it always just backfired, like, terribly. So the lesson there was just stay loyal to the craft. You know, stay loyal to your creativity because it's a gift.
Well, I remember being in high school for 20,000 cajillion years. When we were given the opportunity, you know, a lot of my teachers, of course, because they weren't really well versed in, like, the music industry, as it was a foreign business to their area. They're like, well, you know, make sure you get your education, and that they were right about. But they went a little bit beyond that. It went more toward the side of, and besides, you know, that only lasts for this long or that long, and I'm up here talking to you guys right now, so it just goes to show you what curiosity could do for the individual. If you're curious, you'll keep chasing it. That's why, you know, the mantra for Kidult is feed your curiosity.
Individuality and just appreciating, like, the way I think and the way I feel, and having, you know, letting that have some value and worth, and depending on that. So, you know what, if everybody else is, you know, what is it, the 4 or 5? Y'all got like 29 million highways out here.
Yes, sir.
Right? Take a different route. If y'all got traffic there, isn't that what you guys do? You get off on the next exit and you go somewhere else. You'd rather sit in the traffic with a stoplight than to be on the 405 trapped.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that, like, individuality is a wonderful thing. It's the reason why Drake is so good. It's the reason why Lord is so good. You know, it's the reason why, you know, the West Coast own Tyler, the Creator, and Our Future, and Kendrick Lamar. Like, these are all, like, none of those guys sound alike. Yet and still, they're all out at the same time. Right. Doing their, you know, perspective things. Right. So it's betting on yourself and betting on your difference and appreciating the rarity of how you think. Oh, this is a free world. This is a free world now. It's different. And there are some restrictions, but there's no restriction in you being exposed to the world, to be discovered as an artist. I would say believe in your direction and do it. Spend less time talking about it and more time trying to like perfect it and put it out there. And you know, if there's fire, the kids will sniff it out. They always do, and they'll turn you all the way up if they feel like that's where you belong. That's all. So all you have to do is be true to your craft, and they see that. When they see you going inward and being proud of who you are and what you are, and you know there's some good intention, they're going to support you. It's a numbers game though, right? 7 billion people on the planet, less than a third online. You know, that's a pretty significant number, which raises the odds for you to become heard. I mean, even the like most boring person on Twitter has 100 followers. Right? 100 people who don't know you from a can of paint. Why? Because everything's about numbers. So there's benefit. You just have to make the numbers work for you.
We all have egos, and it's okay to have a sense of self-awareness and identity, but it's not okay to have an ego, because what an ego does is, the ego is a funny entity within the human brain. It is on your side when you are doing great. But have you ever noticed when you think you failed, it's the ego in your mind that tells you it's so bad. Everyone's looking at you. You know, you start to sweat across your forehead, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. The whole entire world is watching. And none of it is true. When you're doing great, you shouldn't listen to that voice. When you're not doing as great, you shouldn't listen to that voice, because it's not good. When you're doing great, it's going to get you hooked on that feeling, so that when you come down, because life is a roller coaster. There's valleys and peaks. When you hit that valley, if you can't deal, then you won't make it.
We put out the video on November 21st. All of a sudden, boom.
Boom.
I mean, when I say boom,
You mean
boom.
yeah.
And we were like, what's happening? Okay, first of all, people are putting up their own videos.
Yeah.
It was like no longer my song.
Yeah. I think we
like-
actually have a tape. Can we roll the tape of that? When people started putting videos around the world of themselves getting happy. Makes me cry too. Makes me cry too. You know, I was just thinking about your grandmother. I bet she didn't even imagine that. No. No. Bet she didn't even imagine that. I know. I know. I know. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Why am I crying all over?
You know, it's being used for something that's greater than yourself. I get that.
It's overwhelming because it's like, I love what I do, and I just appreciate the fact that like people have believed in me for so long that I could make it to this point to feel that.
Grammys should also be known as a preservation society. We don't get recognized for how expensive our videos are. We don't get recognized for, you know, the superficial aspects and all the other ancillary things that come along with being in this business. You're recognized for the first and foremost important thing, and that's the music. And I'm just so incredibly humbled and honored and appreciative to be a part of, you know, this year's consideration on any level, and to even be doing this interview, because as I often say, I could be just back home in my room with a demo, or not, could be even worse. No music at all, and just a bunch of ideas that I could be frustrated to get out, but with no outlet. But instead, it's the complete opposite. In fact, I'm doing what I love to do. You have to be sort of open, and I'm not sure that, you know, it's cool to be like super open-minded, you know, and then when you are, or when you see people that are, everyone like rolls around like, you know, coining them geniuses. And really all it is just like being open to other things in the world. And I guess that's it. I mean, because I didn't plan these things. I mean, now, you know, in the last few years, when I started to catch on and started to make sense, I'm like, oh, okay, this is how it goes. You sort of set out these goals, and then you have long-term goals, and then you have short-term goals, and somewhere within, you know, you find your hobbies, and then you find the things that you are interested in, which are two separate things, because what your hobbies are, what you naturally and readily go to, and what you're interested in are the things that you don't mind studying a little more and researching a little more than you would anything else. And somewhere at the 50-yard line is what you should be doing with your life. I was lucky enough to stumble across that. I look at every opportunity as something that cements the next block in your sidewalk. And it's just important to, like, you know, don't look over your shoulder every 5 minutes. If anything, just continue to stand on your tippy toes to see how far you can see and what's in the horizon.
When you say that you come from nothing, you're saying I come from nothing. Like, nothing. Do you know what nothing is? Nothing is a void. Nothing is deep space with no stars. Nothing is, it's not possible for you to exist in nothing. So there's no such thing as nothing. It's all relative. So when you say, you know, I was just explaining this to you know, an old friend the other day who was saying, you know, I have it so hard, it's so tough, and it's so crazy, and, you know, I don't have anything. Well, sure you do. You have the same things that Bill Gates has. Because just like him, when he dies, you know what you're going to take with you? That's exactly right. So while the apartment may smell funny, while there may be pests and rodents, because that's what people generally relate to nothing, right? Come from nothing. And the car is a Hyundai, if there is a car. Or there's bus tickets, or train and free lunch. Nothing, right? It's not true. Imagine the people who live out in remote villages that have never heard of the iPod. But they're happy. And they would argue with you when you tell them that they have nothing. Nothing is a perception. So if your reality is merely just your perception and a perspective, these things are interchangeable. So first, you need to, when you say you come from nothing, you should probably reevaluate that and think about it. Because if you're not cancer stricken and you don't have AIDS and you have your legs and your fingers, I'd say you have a bigger chance as you have a huge advantage over people who are amputees who are really doing good in life, and people who have had AIDS for 10 years who are really succeeding, and people who have cancer that are fighting every day, but still they are working at the things that they love to do in life. I would say you have a little bit more than what you thought was nothing.
How many times have you guys, you know, in a situation of need, a moment of need, you go, you know what I need? I need da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And you blow it off. And then 3 years later, there's a guy, you know, on an infomercial describing exactly your idea. And he's showing you how great your product works. You have to be unafraid to listen and unafraid to think that something that you have is a good idea. Now, you also can't believe in it so much that you have deaf ears toward like reason and reality. Because you can have the most brilliant idea in the world, but you gotta bet on yourself. You can't think that like that one idea and the way that you think it's supposed to happen is the only way that it can happen. You know, don't wait for the stars to align. Reach up and rearrange them the way you want. Create your own constellation. I say that all the time. You just have to be smart enough to know that, like, you know, there's so many ways that, like, things can turn out, you know, and there's so many people in their lives that, man, if I would have just made that left turn, or if I would have just stayed in the house 5 more minutes or whatever, like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. If we would bet on ourselves, but at the same time take in consideration what this moment will mean to us 10 years from now, it could be different. But listen, I haven't made all the best decisions in the world either. I definitely fell on my ass a million times, but I learned on my way down, and I definitely take it in stride getting back up.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Man, super fire. Let's get it, Marv. Drop some nuggets on us. What's your takeaways?
Man, okay, so super dope video, man. I love that video. He fires me up. The funny one was when he said, take a different route and don't be trapped. I feel like a lot of us, when you're like going through things or just wanting to really express yourself, some of us have that little voice in our head. And when you're ready to do something, and you might do something phenomenal, you don't even know what you're about to do, you'll trap yourself. And like your voice will just like literally tell you one small thing, and it will be a split second, like 5 seconds, and you'll not do it. And a lot of us, I was like a victim of that too, till I did Landmark. And then like, because honestly, like once like you feel like, for example, as wellness coaches here, we have the opportunity to talk to everyone and anyone you meet on a daily basis. How many people do you think you encounter brand new on a daily basis? I'm gonna say about like 20, right? Because you can see at the grocery store, at the gym, you know, walking your dog, whatever it is, and you won't even go up to them and tell them about the opportunity that you might have for them, or they might be looking for this type of opportunity, and you're holding out. And you're trapping yourself on that 405 with everybody else instead of getting off that exit and going somewhere else. And then the other one was be true to your craft. Like literally believe in what you're doing and don't stop doing it. Like when I first started Herbalife, I'll tell you guys right now, I really had no direction. Well, I had a direction. I just didn't. It was like all over the place. Now, like I have solid goals that I write down. I do what I got to do, my affirmations. I wake up at the gym, 5 a.m. club every morning. Like, so my direction, I know where I'm going and I know what I got to do to get there. So no matter what, I just do it. And you just do it and you just do it and you just do it. You don't give up on yourself. Be true to yourself and be true to your craft. That was a couple that I took away and fired up.
Major takeaways. Thanks for sharing that video, man. That was a dope video. Rox, what are your takeaways?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I love this video. My favorite part was when when he was with Oprah and the happy video like went like viral all over the world. And I was getting chills as I was watching that because it's like she said like he was being used for something greater than him. And for me, what it did for me is just like every single day, like when we're up to something and when we're up to like our goals and our dreams, it's so much more bigger than us. And our impact can reach thousands and thousands of people. Like just imagine how people are feeling. Like I know whenever that song comes on, like I feel good, you know, like it puts you in a great mood. And like just to think of that impact in whatever field it is, like that for me, like it was really, really touching to follow what it is that you love, because through following what you love, you can reach so many people. But it takes that daily consistent action to do that and to believe in yourself and to go after it no matter what anyone says, no matter what anybody thinks. So I really love that. And then the last one too, I loved how you said, don't wait for the stars to align. A lot of the times, I know for me in the past, I used to be like, well, I don't feel like it. I feel this way and I feel that way. I feel this. And like my brother, like when I was young, I used to be like, well, I feel like, but he's like he would always tell me like, Rox, nobody gives a about your feelings and what you're feeling. Like he would keep it real with me at 15 and 16. And I would get so upset because I was just like, dude, it's my feelings and how I feel right now. He's like, if you base your whole life off of what you feel, Rox, like you're gonna have a really tough time in life. And it's so true. And that to me was just like what he said, don't wait for the stars to align, like just get up and do it. Just go and just do it. And he said, be smart enough to know that there are many like different ways at which life can go, but every single moment you have a decision making. Like every single day when we get up, like we have choices. In 10 years from the road, the decisions that we make now, whether we feel like it or not, like based on all of that, it'll show up 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and so on and so forth.
Man, I second that. I mean, great takeaways. Love that. So some for me.
No, I'm not up in my face.
Some for me, the ego. So when you're talking about the ego is that image that you want to protect. So the ego is created out of safety and protection when you're younger. When you're starting to form your consciousness, it protects you in times where you're not able to protect yourself. So for example, say maybe you're younger and things happen, or you're getting to learn how to interact with kids around you, or you're growing into a teenager. This is where your ego starts to come up to protect you, but then the ego will then turn on you because the ego protects you to a certain point and then limits you past that. It's like a box, you know? A shell is a protection, but then also a shell you can't get out of. So he talked about this. He said, you got to understand the ego is not you. The ego is one of the like things that was given to you. So if you can see the ego, meaning you hear these voices, like these thoughts in your head, you have these ideas come up, you got to understand if you can see the thoughts, or not see them, but if you can observe the thoughts and observe the ideas, and if you can observe them, that means you're not them, you're the observer, which is your eternal self. But he said something that was really dope to me. He said, hey, life is like a roller coaster. You're going to have peaks and valleys, but you got to understand that if you let the ego take over in either circumstance, it will not work out for you. And I'd never heard it like that. But then when he said it, it makes so much sense. If you listen to the ego in the good times, oh, you're doing great, you're the man, you're always going to be on top. Guess what happens? You get complacent. You stop working. You lose focus because the ego just told you you're the man. You always going to be on top. Think about it, you guys. This always crosses my mind. I don't know why it crosses my mind all the time for some reason, but you ever hear a song that used to be hot a few years ago? Or you ever remember a video from a few years ago? Or an athlete? Somebody that you were like, man, they're doing it right now. And then you think now and you're like, where are they at? What happened to them? Because the hardest thing is not to get on top. The hardest thing is to stay on top of your game. And how many people do you know that sparked and then faded out? Where they were hot, but now they're no longer relevant. I think of this all the time. Like I'll hear songs, I'll be like, whatever happened to them? Or I'll see a video, I'll be like, whatever happened to them? And it's because when they got great, their ego kicked in and they said, yo, I'm going to always be the man. I'm going to always be the woman. I don't got it. You just got it. You got the juice. No matter what time you wake up, no matter how much work you put in, no matter how much commitment you have, you got the juice. You just going to have it. The ego got you. And I get so inspired by the people that over time, you guys, Pharrell has been in the game for close to 20 years. Like, think about that. Think about how long he's had to stay relevant, reinvent himself, continue to grow, continue to explore his talents, to still be relevant from a time where there's people, the only people that are still around from when he was hot is Jay-Z. Everybody else is not really around anymore. Think about all the people that used to get him as the producer. That you were like, yo, they're going to be Nelly, Clips, all these people that were the hottest, they didn't keep working on it. They let the ego take over. And you know, everybody has different circumstances, but that really got, like, I was like, damn, you can't listen to the ego when it's good, telling you the man and you ain't got to do nothing no more. And you can't listen to the ego when it's tough and it's telling you you're not worth it. This is all you got. You don't deserve it. You can't listen to it at all. And I was like, whoa, never listen. When it's going good, don't believe those thoughts that you got this forever. And when it's going bad and it says you don't deserve it, you always going to be a loser, don't believe those thoughts either. No matter what, don't believe it. Just work. Just believe. Just do it. And I was like, now we know it. Now you ain't got to be one of those people that, oh, man, when they came into Herbalife, they got the abs. When they came into Herbalife, they got the 30 pounds down. They gained the muscle. They went up the marketing plan. Where they at now? They were at the beach this summer. Where they at now? You don't got to be that. You just got the tools from Pharrell to not be that person that at one time was hot. Don't be that person. He just gave you the nuggets. That was massive. All right, let's get a couple takeaways. Give me a thumbs up or a smile if you're excited to share your takeaway. If you're at work and can't share live, type it in the chat bar. Oh, let's get it, Lizzie. What's your takeaway?
I just wanted to share like what you were talking about on the roller coaster. You know, that, you know, sometimes when you're going through stuff, you know, sometimes that inner voice tries to like tell you, oh, you know, this and that, or, you know, you have your moments. And that really touched me right there, because I tend to deal with at times, you know, and to love what you do, you know, like obviously, you know, doing this, you know, it's going to impact lives and change lives for the better, you know, like even my family, you know, even some of them might not be on board or whatever, but, you know, I know as they see me, you know, like it's going to happen, you know, and to be open-minded to new things, you know, as I said, you know, like not to fall back on them when times get tough, you know, like when I go through a rough patch or whatever, not to fall back on my goals, you know, just to keep pursuing that, you know.
Nice. Love
And about perception, you know, like sometimes the mind is a tricky thing, you know, will allow you to, you know, think certain things. And how he brought it out, like if you're not sick and you're not really going through things, you know, you could really, you know, do what you have to do, you know. And then the last one is like, I know it was part of the belief in it, right? Yeah, so those were my takeaways. Thank you.
Love it. Yeah, I love that, how you said the mind can be a tricky thing. And once you realize it can be a tricky thing, you realize it's not you. You know, it's kind of like sometimes, you know, if your back gives you issues, or your ankle gives you issues, or your allergies give you issues, and you'll be like, well, you know what? Sometimes my allergies can be a tricky thing. When you do that, you realize that the allergies are not you. When you can make that discernment between you and your mind, you just made a major win between most people in the world, because most people think the mind is them. Imagine if you thought your allergies were you. And because the pollen changed in the air, things went haywire. You were like, well, I'm just going haywire. No, you'd be like, well, that's what happens at this time of year when the wind kicks up. Just understanding that your mind has tendencies like that because it's not you, it's a tool for you. You'll be able to see the next time the mind goes crazy, like when the wind kicks up and the allergies go crazy, you'll be like, well, you know what? The mind goes crazy at this time of year when it gets cloudy a lot and everybody's eating pie all day, or, you know, when everybody's doing this, when it's this day, then you just know. And you don't have to be it. You can choose it. And you can also choose not it. So that's dope. Great stuff. Let's get one more takeaway. Thumbs up or smile if you're excited to share your one biggest takeaway. Okay, Christine, let's get it.
Okay, so for my first takeaway, it was feed your curiosity. Often I feel like curiosity is looked at as a negative growing up. And, you know, when you're a kid, don't be curious, don't ask questions, don't, you know, do this, don't do that. And I think like some of the best discoveries and some of the best things are through curiosity, being curious and actually trying different things. And the second takeaway was love what you do. because that was instilled in me a long time ago, growing up, watching my mom work in a job that she wasn't happy in. And so coming home and seeing her angry, seeing her, you know, upset, or seeing her tired was just like, I don't want to grow up that way. I don't want to, you know, come home that way. I want to come home and be happy. I want to come home and be stress-free. And so I'm lucky that I found Herbalife, and I'm able to, you know, help other people achieve their goals, because through Herbalife, I achieved some of mine. So, yeah, just love what you do, because you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life.
I love that. Absolutely. Christine, where are you from?
Fresno.
Let's get it, Christine. Love it. Awesome. Great job. You guys, epic takeaways. Huge shout out to Mar for the video. Really came through with that. Great job. You guys, we're going to upload the video. Definitely make sure you share the link with your friends and family, clients, team members, everybody. Repost the flyer with your takeaway. Repost a picture of Pharrell with the takeaway. Repost a selfie of you. I don't know. Whatever you got to do to leave others how you're feeling with this inspiration for the week is how we get it done, you guys. Epic Triple M. Let's have an amazing week. Where you at? Let's go! Happy Monday. It's time to hit this gym. Let's get it.